guys, welcome back to The Funny Thing Is podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Birch, where every week we bring you someone who shares a life-changing event, the medicine they took to get better, and the funniest lesson they learned along the way. Today, I have a very special guest for you, okay? She is a former comedian, a personal trainer, and a podcast host of the Dumbbells podcast. Welcome to the stage, Erin McGowan.
Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you. Wow. Huge.
Wow. I'm trying
Thank you for saying former comedian, because when I wrote that, I was like, ooh, this is kind of funny to me, but also maybe weird to say.
I always think that you're a comedian, so I don't know.
You.
Yeah.
I gave it up. I left it behind. Now I'm just funny like a normal person.
Yeah.
You know?
And you've got a great, successful podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, which I've been on.
Yes, you have.
And shared a lot.
A great episode.
I loved being on that with you guys because the questions that you asked weren't like the normal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had to think about some things. Like I think what
that.
did Ryan ask me? Like what my favorite snack was to give to kids or something like that. I don't remember. And I was like, oh, peanut butter, almond peanut butter, not the Jiffy, not that would never do that. It was just like,
and I'd never bring it to school. I swear
never.
to God.
And goldfish out, you know, because he's a health nut and it's great.
Yes.
And you're a personal trainer, so you're also.
Mm-hmm.
So we met through probably Corey Clifford, Jack Bishop era.
Yeah.
How did you meet them?
We used to go to a gym together.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
that's how we met.
Yeah, no, I love Corey's obviously best friend. She held my leg during the delivery.
Yes,
which is wild. But I wanted to have you on. I'm so excited that you're here. What is a life-changing event you'd like to share? Because I know it and it's wild.
Yeah. I was asking Corey, I was like, should I do something different? And she was like, no.
Nobody else has this story. You need to share it with the world.
Oh my God.
What happened? Give me the Cliff Note version and we'll get into the bigger one.
Okay. So on my third date with my now husband, we fell through a skylight together.
On a roof.
Okay. Yeah.
And then what happened?
Then everything was so chill and we got married.
And that was it. Okay. Let's go back because I want to know how you met him.
Yeah.
Start there.
Okay. So Jason and I met doing comedy. I can't believe I married a comedian. Okay.
I love it.
But he was a stand-up and I did musical comedy. I play trombone. My best friend Melissa plays guitar, and we would write funny songs.
Amazing.
And so we had a mutual friend who would do these very hilarious shows where he would get people to send him their porn scripts.
Okay.
They had written.
Amazing.
That was like a friend's porn script or whatever.
Right.
And so he would have me and Melissa play the theme songs for these porns.
Amazing.
And then he would have Jason as one of the actors.
Great.
So I met Jason doing
comedy porn. Okay.
Yes, live comedy porn.
Right.
And so we met doing that show, and Jason asked me out on Instagram the next day or two.
How long ago was this?
My God, this was probably 7 years ago.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
But I had just started dating somebody else.
Right.
And we had kind of just closed off the relationship, I guess. And so I told Jason no. And then he responded really well to the no. He was like, totally cool. If you ever are single again, hit me up.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when I was single again, I hit him up. And then I went and saw him do comedy, which was a real risk. But he was a fun
dude
comic. He wasn't a downer guy.
Yeah.
or a depressed comic. That's a lot of them.
Right. That's a lot of us. Yeah. But also have you ever dated somebody and then seen their comedy and then
not wanted to date them?
Yep, absolutely. Yes. I've done that.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad. I was so attracted to this guy, and then I saw him do something at IO West, and he thought
that's tough anyway.
I know, but he thought he was the
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and I'd been coming from Sunday Company at the Groundlings, and I watched his version of Sunday Company.
Tough.
And I was like, oh,
mm-hmm.
and he was doing dad fart jokes. And my vagina sealed so shut so fast.
Yeah.
And the afterwards, I was like, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to go home. It was bad. Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
But when it works, you're like,
okay,
when they're funny, okay, we can do this.
Okay, we can proceed.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I like him. He hadn't seen my comedy at that point, like for real. And so then he returned the favor, saw my comedy, and then we went on a few like normal dates. We went on a hike. Thank God. We went to a couple bars. Like we went the night of the concert or the night of the fall.
Okay.
We went to a concert first.
What was the concert?
Fonda. It was it was like a cover band that I am not going to be able to. It's like the Gimme Gimmes, maybe something in the Gimme Gimmes. They were doing like a bunch of Christmas music.
Great.
Because it was November 30th into December 1st. December 1st was like technically when we fell through the skylight. And before we left for that, because I met him at his apartment, and we walked to Davy Wayne's. What's that? Fast Times at Davy. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, we went to Davy Wayne's. We had an incredible time there. And then we walked over we got an Uber there to the Fonda. And we saw the show. And we had such an amazing time at this show. We were so silly. There was this like lady that was there who was like, "Are you guys brother and sister? You guys have such great energy." And we were like, "Yeah, we are." And she was like, "I could tell because you both have great hair." And we were like, "Thank you so much."
On a date.
It was such a weird. So
and you guys don't look alike.
I don't think so either, but I don't know. To this woman we did. And she was like, "See, honey, kids can, like, brother and sisters can get along." And we were just we were just like milking it. We were just having a blast.
Good, yes.
And then we like made out. Maybe she saw it, maybe not. But we did it for her, you know?
For sure.
And so anyways, we had just such a fun night. And so then we get back to his apartment and I was like, "Hey, you told me that you have a great view from your roof. Like, let's go see it." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." So we go upstairs and we are not upstairs for, I don't know, 10 seconds. Like the way he just kind of like leads me up there, and then he goes and he like leans on this like glowing bubble, which I would then later find out that was a skylight. And so like he like kind of leaned against it like real suave. And I just remember being like, yes, I like this guy. And so like I went and I just like mirrored him. I just like leaned facing him. And like as I leaned on this skylight, it like buckled. And I just remember feeling like this moment of like, well, that's weird. And it was like just like it kind of like with a plastic water bottle, how you can kind of pop it in and out.
Right.
That's what it did under my body. And it gave way and we fell through. And I remember thinking this is happening.
Right.
What is this? I don't know. I've never experienced it, but I just remember this is happening. And it was like really like glowy. Obviously we're falling through a light, but it was like really glowy. And I was like, I'm dying. Like this is dying.
How far did you fall?
We fell 15, 20 feet. Like it was like through a roof and then a story. And so we landed on the second floor of his apartment building. I landed right in front of the stairs and he landed on the stairs that led up to the roof. And so I don't know if I was ever passed out or if I lost consciousness, but I know that I like opened my eyes and like I had blood all over my hands and my arms. And I just was like, oh my God, like, okay. And I looked at Jason and I was like, he was unconscious. And I just was like, I need to get help. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if he's okay. Like what's happening. I don't know if I'm okay.
Is this like a multi-unit apartment building too? Like, did anybody hear it or?
Yes. So I would later find out that yes, people heard it. Yeah. And like, because as soon as I started screaming, people came out to help.
Okay, great.
This was like a Friday night into Saturday morning. And thank God, like it was like around midnight. So a lot of people were in their apartments and around to like help.
Right.
And so like I remember thinking I need to see if I can walk. And so I got up and I was able to walk. And so I just started screaming and like knocking on doors basically. And like people came out and they immediately like, this part is like very much a blur. Like this woman like sat me down. She was like, you have to stop walking around.
Yeah, just sit down.
Like sit down. And she like had me sit down. And I didn't have my cell phone on me. I didn't know what apartment building or apartment
Number
I didn't
he
know.
was in.
Yes,
Yeah,
I didn't know anything. And so thankfully they knew him. And so they knew where it was. So they were able to go get my phone. I'm calling my best friend, Melissa, to come help me. At this point, I'm hearing Jason talking. So I know that he is alive. But I can no longer see him. And so all I know is like ambulances start arriving. He is taken away. And then the guy, like my ambulance guy, he was like, "Did you know your boyfriend can't feel his legs?" And I was like, "What?" And I was like, he has to be wrong. Like that has to be wrong. That has to be wrong. Maybe he can't feel his legs right now, but like he will be able to. He was such a dick. That guy was such a dick to me.
Why the fuck would
I don't know. I'm sure they thought we were like so fucked up, or I don't know. Like I was like, why is he being so mean? And like, anyways, and so so they took me in an ambulance. They took him in an ambulance, and this was our third date. Like while we had known of each other for a very long time, we did not know each other very well.
Right.
And we liked each other a lot, but like I was like, am I gonna talk to him again? Like what? Like
yeah. Oh yeah.
Will I know where he is? Like, will he know will he care where I am? Well,
right.
Like it was and like also like
it's so early on.
It was so early. It was crazy.
Okay.
And like I liked him so. I told my therapist about him right away. I was like, I am in love with this guy. Like before the accident, I was like, you have to. I like showed my therapist his Instagram.
Had you guys hooked up before this? Or
no,
like, no. This is just third date.
No, I know. Yeah. I'm so
I have to
mad.
ask because I know I'm always curious because I'm like I gave it away early. So,
I know. Well,
yeah.
I wish I had. So I just was like in a place of like I don't know. From here on, I have no idea anything about anything. And he went into spinal surgery like hours later, and they repaired his spine, but they couldn't like undo the damage of a spinal cord injury. And so, his story I mean, his health journey from this point on is just a lot of really kind of like complication upon complication. And during this time, I am just like a mental basket case.
Yeah. What was your health journey for that? So
I had blood everywhere because I had a head contusion. What's the word? Like
concussion?
I don't know that I actually had a concussion, but I had like a big gaping hole in the back of my head.
Yeah.
That they were able to sew up. Okay. And so that's why I looked like I had been in a zombie movie, and Jason was like a little like he looked pristine, like nothing was like he had no blood on him, so you know. Crazy. But so that was the only thing that had happened to me was I hit my head and I had to get stitches, and then
you didn't even have a skull fracture.
No.
That's crazy.
And my shoulder was, I thought for sure my shoulder was like broken or something, but it was just really crazy bruised. It was really painful, but nothing was broken. Nothing.
Insane.
I know. So, I was able to see him in the hospital. I escaped my hospital bedroom because they had put an alarm on my bed because I had fallen. And so like, I was like, they were monitoring me basically
to make sure you didn't fall again. Yeah.
And to make sure that like, that they hadn't missed something or whatever. And so like they had I didn't know that they had an alarm on my bed, but I got out of bed and then the alarm went off and it was the loudest alarm I've ever heard in my life. And so then I like begged my nurse to like, let me just go on a walk around my floor. And then I was like, I'm going to go to see Jason. And so I like in my socks, like go on this crazy journey to go try to find him because he was in ICU and that's a different building. I did not even know.
Totally different.
Yeah. And so I was able to get to him. And then as soon as I got to him, the like people from ICU came to get me because they were like, you are a fugitive. You are a hospital fugitive. You are in trouble. And so it was like right before, like we had like this like sweet, like are you okay? I'm okay. I still had like blood in my hair. And he was like, you look like that girl from Game of Thrones, that redheaded girl from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I was like, are we gonna kiss again, you think? And he was like, yeah, I think we will. And we were like gonna kiss. And then like this ICU
Came and got you. Ruined the moment.
Yeah. So that was like, and then after that, he developed spinal meningitis. And he didn't know it at the time. His family didn't know it, but he started to get really, really like
high fevers.
Yeah, and like kind of like in and out of consciousness. So I wasn't allowed to see him again for like 2 months.
Holy, I thought you were going to say maybe 2 weeks.
No, it was 2 months. And when I saw him again, it was like a different person. It was crazy. And
like physically, mentally, all the above.
Physically, mentally, everything. Fuck. Yeah. He had just been through spinal meningitis and like kind of coming to terms with like paralysis. Oh, so he, his injuries, he sustained a T11-12 spinal cord injury. And it's technically an incomplete injury, which means that in some worlds that means that his spinal cord was not severed, basically. And I am not a doctor and I could be wrong on my terminology, but his spinal cord wasn't severed. And so there is a world in which he could regain sensation, he could regain some sort of movement. But after the spinal meningitis, that those numbers really decreased because he wasn't able to.
How do you get spinal cord meningitis? I mean,
he got an infection in his incision from his surgery.
Fuck me. Oh my God.
I know.
So you're right. Like when you said it just kept hit after hit after hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Now his parents were.
And then he got a pressure sore that needed surgery. It was a lot. It was thing after thing.
I don't want to skip ahead too much. When did his parents arrive? Are they from LA? Like
no, his parent. Thankfully, he has an aunt and uncle that live in Los Angeles.
Okay,
like next to Cedars, and so they were there immediately.
10 seconds. Okay,
and his aunt came to my room and kind of explained to me what was going on, and I really thought that was like above and beyond what a family member like. Again, third date. I've been on so many like third dates where just like I never see this person again. I don't know. They could walk up to me on the street and like I might have a vague memory, but like I'm now meeting his aunt who's explaining to me his like physical situation.
Prognosis. Oh
yes, and so I was so grateful for that. And then we actually found out during this experience, like during us all being in the hospital, my mom. I love my mom so much. She calls me and she goes, "Do you know that Jason's our cousin?" And I was like,
"What?
Huh?
What?"
So it is a convoluted relation, but we are technically related through marriage.
Yeah.
And adoption. There was an adoption in there, but it's like,
got it.
But his uncle's uncle's daughter is married to my like second, third cousin, but they're married. They are married. And we will see them if we go to like a family reunion.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, Mom, you could have like front loaded that story. Instead of just being like, we're related. Anyways, we're like in the hospital.
You're like, oh my God, we're blood related. Maybe we're first cousins.
Didn't hook up, you know what I'm saying? But, anyways, so his parents got there, his mom got there like the morning or like the afternoon that it happened. And I remember when I snuck into the ICU, she gave me a big hug. Okay. And I was so like, I just was really grateful for that because I didn't, there was like a rumor going around that I heard that I had like landed on him, and that was really hard. I've never been in a situation that anyone kind of weighs in on that I don't know, you know, I've never experienced that. And for it to be something so like traumatic and like heartbreaking, and then to be like, oh, you guys think that I just like, and also like I could have landed on him. And then what? Then I have like that, like,
Yeah. Why would you want me to have that?
So I'm really grateful. I did not land on him, but I didn't know how his mom would react to me of being like, who's this bitch?
Yeah.
Like, you're on a date with my son and now he's paralyzed? Like,
Right.
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So can I say fuck?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Girl, come on.
So I just, I was really grateful for that. And then as much as they could, they kept me in the loop for that like 2-month period of time. But I called him every day. His phone was not on, but I called him and I like left him a message, or I would text him. I just was like, I didn't want him to like come out of this and be like, and then you were just gone for like, you just
Ever.
like tra-la-la'd out of here.
Right.
And I just like, I didn't want him to think that I had just abandoned him, even if we'd never dated after this.
Right. Yeah.
I just wanted,
you guys
like,
went through something
we
terrible
went through
together.
this. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I wanted him to know that I was there for him.
So how long was he in the hospital total? Because you didn't see him for 2 months.
Yeah. So he was in like ICU for like 40 days or like something close to that. I don't technically know how long it was in the hospital proper, but I know that the accident was technically December 1st, and he moved into his apartment, his new wheelchair accessible apartment, like May 1st.
Whew.
So what is that? 6 months?
Yeah. 5, yeah. 6. Yeah.
He was in rehab for, probably 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. And that was when I started to see like old Jason. And that was when I started to like be like, oh, okay, we might have something here. I got to see him like kind of like get his personality back, see kind of his drive to like make his new situation work. And that was like something that, again, I wanted to be there for him, but if part of what I loved about him in the beginning was his like infectious like personality. He's just like, he wants to have a good time. He's an upbeat guy. And I was afraid that if he lost that, because obviously he lost that for a time.
Right.
But I was like, that, I don't know, maybe it was nice to be able to see that it was coming back and that I didn't have to like
dig for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And be able to be like, oh, there you are. You're able to see like life beyond this.
Right. Yeah. I just want to say this. Dating in Los Angeles is already so hard. And you're on a third date. He takes you to go see a beautiful Los Angeles skyline. You guys fall through the skylight, both injured. He's paralyzed. You guys are now married with a baby, jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are the poster children for how to make relationships work in Los Angeles. Like everybody's like, I didn't go out with him because he likes pineapple on his pizza. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm just like, okay, so like, I know I jumped ahead,
it's okay.
but
sometimes you need to jump ahead in the story to be like, okay, everybody's okay.
Everybody's okay.
Yeah.
How did it look? So like May, you guys were in constant contact with each other through that while he was in the hospital and rehab?
Once he got to rehab and like got his like phone back, you're not looking at your phone when you're at the hospital.
Right.
I mean, I guess you could, but he really wasn't. And so once he got to rehab is when we started going on like rehab dates. It was kind of what we would do. So like every Sunday I would go to the rehab facility he was at. He went to a couple. And I would go meet him and we would just like kind of like, they had like art on the walls of like the 6th floor. So we would go like see the art. I did like an Easter egg. He knew he loved me when I did the Easter egg hunt. I like did the Easter egg hunt in like the courtyard on Easter. And what was really interesting about that day was, he's new to a wheelchair. This man lost like 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Like during this whole thing.
Oh, for the audience, will you explain? So he's paralyzed from the waist down?
Oh,
okay.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's paralyzed from the belly button down.
Okay.
And so he's like learning life in a wheelchair. And so I didn't think about this, but like when you have lost a bunch of weight and strength, and then you're now in a wheelchair, your center, and you can't feel your legs, your whole center of like your core, your center of gravity, everything feels so off. Like he would say like, oh, I feel like I'm falling backwards, or like, just like just being still. And so I had put all these eggs all over the god dang floor, and he has to like reach down to get them. And now he's a pro. He can reach down to the ground. He can pick our kid up off the ground and put it on his lap, put her on her lap. Like I was like watching him, and I was like, he is going to fall out of this chair, and I am going to have to pick him up and put him back in this chair. Like, and we're going to have to act like it's not my fault for putting all these eggs freaking everywhere. Like I was like going and like re-hiding them up higher so that he wouldn't have to like go
Lean
down
down.
so far.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where there was such a big learning curve for this new situation.
Right.
Like I had a tiny car. His wheelchair, I had to break down his wheelchair. I had never broken down a wheelchair in my life. Now I'm breaking down a wheelchair, trying to shove it in the back of my Mazda 3, trying to figure out how do I get this wheel on top of this wheel? And like, am I breaking this chair? And he had to learn how to like transfer in and out of a car. And so we had this like wood board that we would put down, and he would slide like across it. And now I'm like, oh, we just have this wood board in our garage now. And every time I see this, I remember this like sweaty day where I'm like, we were trying to like quote unquote go on a hike around the Hollywood like reservoir,
Yeah.
where it's all flat and paved.
Right.
But I just remember I was so sweaty trying to get this car or this wheelchair in the back of my car, and like this wooden board. And it's like, now I only know where it is because it's like close to where I had to clean out the garage the other day, and this was like the most vital piece of the puzzle that you couldn't leave the house without. And now it's just like, we don't even think about it because we've thankfully come so far.
Right.
But wow, what question did you ask me?
So what do you guys use now? Do you guys use anything, or does he just
No, he can just transfer. Boop, boop.
He just knows how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see, when did you know? Because you guys are going on these little dates. When did you know that you still wanted to give this a shot? Was it something you thought about? Is it something you didn't even second guess?
I think when he was able to get into his apartment and we were able to go on like some proper dates where we would go to dinner and we would talk and get to be ourselves. And that was when I was able to think about, hey, even though this doesn't look anything like I thought my love life would look like in the future, even though this looks completely different, I still have this connection with this person, and he has it back with me. That was something I've always struggled with, a little unrequited love girly over here.
Yeah.
But we both were willing to keep trying.
Yeah.
And we were both willing to like overcome these hurdles.
Do you think had the fall not happened, because here's my question, do you think that if the fall had not happened, you guys still would have ended up together?
I don't know.
Yeah. Because some of it's trauma bonding, right?
Right.
My husband and I have that.
Yeah.
Where it's like a little bit, but I also am like, I get really defensive if people think that that's why we're together.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, that's not the only, like, we bring so much to the table for each other. Like, there's just like this knowing, we click, unrequited love sister here also. And he was from the jump, like, no, I want to give this a shot, versus every other guy that's like, well, I can't really call you my girlfriend publicly right now. You know what I mean? Like the opposite. So it's a little, but I'm also aware that there is like some bad stuff happened.
Yeah.
That also involved a fall. I'll tell you about that later. But that kind of like united us, where it's like there is something to be said about how that like deepens you quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about that sometimes, and I think it was healthy to talk about. And I think it's like, it's so hard to know. I imagine we would have, because we really did have a good connection.
Yeah.
The thing I'm curious about though, like where I'm like, I don't know, is if our attachment styles would have worked outside of this trauma.
Okay. Say more about that. That's what this show's about. Right here. That's
I'm
great.
like, I maybe overshot how much I know about attachment styles because I learned from TikTok.
Yeah, there you go.
But like I think I really I'm always like drawn to probably avoidance.
Yep, same. You're anxious.
Uh-huh.
Yep,
and
same.
so I, he was kind of stuck in one place. And I was like not allowed to like contact him. And so we were like, the trauma was allowed to breathe.
Right.
Thank God I was already in therapy the whole time. And he, thank God, was like, I'm getting into therapy. And so like we were able to kind of like, we were forced to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
I was forced to slow down. I wanted to like lock someone in
Fast.
as soon as they like me because like this is not gonna
Then
last.
if I lock them in, they can't go anywhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
And so and all my like timelines, like this happened when I was like 35, 36, 35. And so like I was like ready to have a kid. Like
Right.
that's why me and the Joker broke up, was because he said no, and I was like, I want a kid. Like so I'm going off to find a guy who wants
They want kids. Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh, okay, well this slows that down hard.
Yeah.
And so we just like had to focus on like getting to know each other.
Yeah, girl.
And that was really good for me, but really hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
So I don't know, like we really are good friends. Like he makes me laugh. Like we really enjoy each other's company. I think he's so like cute and hot, and like I wanted to be around him.
Right.
And so it was really God, it was just like I think it would have happened.
Yeah. It might have just happened at a different
pace. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? It's just like such a hypothetical question.
Yeah.
Okay, so now big question.
Hit me.
Sex.
How
does that work? How does that, because there's a lot of people that have injuries, or that like, how did you wrap your brain around that? Did you guys have the discussions? Or did you guys just start doing all the other fun stuff? Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah. No, it's so funny.
Only what you're comfortable with sharing, obviously.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, my mom, I don't know if she's figured out podcasts yet, but I'm always like, if this is a video, she's going to be like, I'll click on a video. It's fine. Let's go for it. So man, I like was one of those girls that was going to wait till they were married to have sex.
Good for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I did not.
Okay.
Spoiler. However, that means that I waited a really, really long time.
Okay.
And I have not done it the traditional way that many times.
Okay.
So when I am approached with this situation, I was like, are you kidding me? At first, I really was like, this is very funny to me. Now I will say I had like, when Jason was in the hospital, we had not even made it to like second base.
Right.
I mean, what is second base? I don't remember, but it's like, we had made it to third base at least, like for sure. And so I was like, I don't know what kind of like pizza he likes. Like, I don't know if he likes going down on girls. These are my two questions that I needed to know. Because they like, we can work with like, as long as you're like a pizza guy.
Yeah.
And like a going down guy. Like that's,
we're good.
We could be fine.
Right.
And so I remember like one day, oh, by the way, also his mom lived with him when he was injured for the first year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but also like for the dating, that's yeah.
So like she would go run an errand and we'd be like, blah, 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 making out. Okay. So we didn't really have to like kind of worry about that.
And that
right
part
away.
Slowed down too, which is good because because with my anxious attachment style, I would go hard on that and try to sell them on that, and then be like, "Oh, that was a bad idea." So I'm glad you did it that way, and that's interesting that like you did save for the most part a lot of that, and you're like, "Come on!" But
I know.
Okay,
I know.
Okay.
So I would say like there was a point that we were like, "All right, mom of Jason, please go to." We like got her a hotel room. We're like, get out of here. We need a night. We just need to like have like the apartment and have a night. And I just remember thinking like, this is going to tell us just a lot about like what is like possible.
Yeah.
And like for me, I wanted to just say, I think one of my main lessons from this is like just to stay open.
Right.
And just to say like, I am not like, I have like a routine every day. I do the same thing. If I can, I love doing the same thing. When I go on vacation, I try to do some of the same things so that I can feel like myself.
Right.
Like I like to know what's going to happen. And so to have like, you know, an arty kind of like
roadmap.
Yeah. Like I didn't know. And something that I already just didn't have very much experience with. I was like, oh my gosh, like what's it? But what I appreciate about Jason is that he is so like calm and like steady. And it lets me be able to be like, I don't know. Is this okay? Is that okay? You know, and he's like, yes, you're okay. Like, we're okay. And so, yeah, sex, like, he can pop a pill. He can get a boner. But
can he?
He can. But
okay.
He can't feel it.
Yeah.
And so to me, that is weird.
Yeah.
That is not like, I don't care about it that much. I don't care. That's my other lesson. Boners don't matter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just am like, I don't need that for us to feel like we're having an intimate time, a sexy time.
Yeah.
Like, I think that has been really comforting to me to know that like, I don't need to have like traditional sex, P and V, for it to feel
because
like
it's more about the intimacy.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
You know, and I'm really grateful for him. Like, he has a show called The Wheel World where he really goes in depth. I know.
Great fucking title.
I know.
Dude.
I know. He goes in depth. So I feel okay talking about this because he has talked about this on camera.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he hasn't ejaculated since the accident. And I think he has gone through his own journey of like, what does that mean as a man, you know? Right. And so as the wife of that man, like, I come all the time. It's a very unusual circumstance.
It's a switch of the dynamic. Yes. Yeah.
And so I'm, a good Christian girl, post, but I think that part has been very like, oh, is that okay? Am I allowed to? Right.
Oh, yeah. I remember the first time I even tried, I felt so guilty and I had to pray afterwards. I know. Yeah. It's so weird. Yeah.
So that part, I think, he's made me feel so much more comfortable with that. And he always is just like, hey, I'm glad one of us can, and I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Just chill about it. I really want to see that. What's the Wheel World on? Like,
well, I think it's on his website.
Okay. Do you know what it is? Because I'd love to plug it.
JasonScience.com.
Yeah. And is SAENZ.
Yes.
Okay.
SAENZ. Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely want to check that out because that's fucking hilarious. What is he doing now? Is he still?
So he's such an incredible writer. And by incredible writer, I mean, he writes all the time. So he's working on a movie of our story right now.
Good.
Who knows? I hope people, God, right after it happened, everyone was like, have you seen The Big Sick? Have you seen The Big Sick?
Yes.
I was like, yes, God. I did. I had seen The Big Sick, but then I was like, wait, I guess I should like watch it now.
Yeah.
I cried like a psychopath.
Oh, I'm sure.
Anyway, so that's like, it would be similar in like probably tone to that. But so he's working on that right now.
But such a specific, I mean, it's not even like, when they say loosely based on yours is like the actual events.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Other question would be financially, like, where were you guys before? Was the apartment culpable? Was how did that all work out? Because like, when you say like, as a mom now who's had an ICU visit or two, I think of the medical bills from 40 days in ICU. And I'm like, like my throat closes. Yeah. So like, what did that look like?
So he had like a very successful GoFundMe.
Okay.
That helped with immediate costs. And helped him get into an accessible apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Get a car with hand controls. Kind of like take care of like the now.
Right.
And then we both separately sued the building.
Okay.
We both settled for vastly different amounts.
Mm-hmm.
We had gotten engaged right before that, so I didn't marry him for money. Okay.
Okay. I just want to say that. Okay.
No, in all honesty, before, like when we got engaged, it was like, are we going to have to move in with one of our families?
Parents. Mm-hmm.
Like for real.
Right.
Thankfully we did not have to do that, but we both settled with the building. We ended up, Jason's lawyer ended up suing the skylight manufacturer as well, because
I was gonna say, yeah,
because the state of California, at least like where we live, like they should be redoing those skylights like way more often than you would have to do in like a place that's not so sunny.
Right. Oh, I didn't even think
so that was like,
Mm.
and it was like one of the cheapest ones. Like it was like Jason's lawyer was incredible, and he was like, I'm going after everybody.
Yeah.
So we were both able to have enough money to kind of start a life
Great.
in Los Angeles together.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Because that was something I was like, oh, how do you, I mean, on top of the financial burden and stuff like that would be.
My heart truly breaks, and also my brain can't comprehend if you sustain a spinal cord injury and have no one to sue. I'm not trying to go around suing everybody.
Right.
But like,
if you don't have those resources.
If you don't have those resources, like, it is so expensive to be a paraplegic, let alone a quadriplegic. Like, yeah. The monthly costs are real. Like we got like denied. Jason got like denied the insurance covering his like catheters. We're like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. And this was like insurance that we paid for out of pocket, so much money a month. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm just saying, like, that's one example. Like, we are okay.
Right.
We are stable. And also we're like, we are always kind of living in the back of our mind, like, is something going to come up that we have to like buy a new wheelchair tomorrow?
Right.
Like, you know, those kind of things they happen and they're surprising. Or, hey, what if something crazy comes out that's like, oh, if you just have this one thing, you'll be able to walk again.
Right.
And you're like, oh, well, I have enough money for that one thing.
How much is it?
How much is it?
Yeah.
You know, so
does he still do any type of rehab or anything?
He does. He goes to a rehab gym.
Okay.
That is like specifically for people with like mobility issues.
Right.
And so that is kind of like rehab. Like you kind of work with a personal trainer there with specific like background, and they are kind of like monitoring your progress. Right. And it's a lot of core, and he does like, we own a standing frame for him. So he goes on that every day, where he is like, it looks like an elliptical kind of. Okay. But it like starts seated and he transfers over into it and he like pumps himself up. And so he's in a standing position. So that's very rehab-esque. Like that's great. In rehab facilities. And that's in your house? It's in our house.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then he has a bike that's also in our house. In our garage, sorry. But the baby came first. Which is like where you put like electromagnetic like stickers on your leg muscles and glutes, and then the bike like bikes your legs for you, and it like it stimulates your muscles basically.
That's amazing.
So we have those two things in our house. Okay. That he can use. And he does.
Let's do the segue to the baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know, she's gorgeous.
I know. I can't believe it. After all of this and my big stance on wanting a baby, right? I was just getting older, and
can I ask how old were you when you conceived?
30, a month shy of being 39.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was 38, almost 39.
Okay.
But we were gonna go like start doing like the egg retrieval process. So this is something I didn't know about spinal cord injuries, is that C-level injuries, so people that have like a higher level, so like neck down, let's say, because the injury line is further away from your dick,
Okay.
you can normally still ejaculate, get a boner.
Wild. Okay.
Okay.
You would think because it's more of your body, but no.
You would think,
it's
but it's like further away
away
from the injury line.
Okay.
So there's like, it's not everybody is so different.
Right.
But so when I hear this, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is crazy. But because Jason's injury line is so close to his dick, it is like, we didn't know if there was going to be viable sperm, if there was going to be sperm at all. I did not know that was a thing.
That's crazy.
So we had to do a thing called a Tessie procedure for him.
Okay.
That is where they make a little incision in your balls and they go in and they search and rescue sperm.
Search and rescue. Okay.
But so they did that. And so we didn't know if there was going to be sperm.
Right.
And there was. Thank God. And so
that's amazing.
So then we were able to do my egg retrieval and we did IVF. And so we got 2 viable embryos and we just said, let's put one of these bad boys in there and see if it works. And it did.
That's crazy. Are you going to do the other one?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I think on a normal day where everything is going just smoothly.
Right.
I'm like, I could totally handle one more of these.
This is my life. I'm 43.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, but I feel 60.
Yes.
So like I just started, I stretch enough to touch my knees. You know what I mean? There it is. And so that's the only thing. But like there's when everything's chill, you're like, yes.
Yes, I could do this again. Yeah. And I think
because how old's your daughter now?
She is 15 months old.
Okay.
So she's a wild animal, but she is like, I would wait personally if I have thought about this every second of every day. I would wait until she was 2 and change, and then I would do the embryo, see if it takes. That's the other thing. I don't know if it would.
Right.
And I'm not doing any more egg retrievals. That was the worst thing in the world to me. Worse than
I've heard that.
being pregnant. Honestly, it was
I've heard that.
horrible.
Yeah.
I would be 43 when she would be born if I did.
Right.
So I have time, but
Right.
I just I think when I'm like traveling, like when we went to Hawaii on Christmas, which was a dream come true. But I was like, oh my God, if I had to do this, like I have to carry all the luggage, you know, and Jason does so much to help me.
Right.
But like there is like there's
a limitation.
I have to pack the car.
Right.
And like I'm like just dripping sweat and like haggard by the end. And then I have to undo it all when we get to the place to set everything. And so it is a lot that does fall on me physically.
Right.
And so I am like, if I'm perfectly fine, then maybe.
Right.
But I don't know. Right now, this one, she's so good at sleeping that I'm like, I don't know. Maybe we just let it be.
Yeah.
Let's just
because I hear horror stories. I mean, I really was a
know.
good sleeper, but I hear horror story and if I had a colicky baby,
I know.
those moms, I'm just like, oh my God, my heart goes out.
Yeah. You need so much support.
So he's driving.
He can drive. Yep.
You guys are doing
controls.
You guys are in a really good place. Does he still do stand up?
He hasn't done stand-up in a while, but I think that's more because of the baby, honestly.
Yeah.
He's like doing a...
Oh, yeah, she's only... Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I can see like both of us, like, because I miss doing comedy. I just can't imagine putting on makeup at 9 p.m. to go stand on a stage for 10 minutes. Like, I just like... Ugh.
Girl, it's not even in my cards right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm on tour. And I say tour, and I say a very mini tour. And it's the ones where they're early shows and I can take Everly if it's nearby.
Yeah.
Or that I'm only gone for a one-nighter.
Yeah.
Like I just...
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And so I really want him to do it because I feel like I have other outlets. I'm a personal trainer, and don't you think that I am not trying to make these mother effers laugh
Yeah.
every 10 minutes. I'm not trying to do too much, but I'm trying. I get my little performance out.
Right.
I have my podcast. I get my performance out there. For him, like, I'm like, go. He's such a social creature. Like, I can be alone for hours. I love it. But he needs that. So I do want him to get back out. And he did the wheel world a few times in LA. And, there's part of me was like, let's do Edinburgh. Let's do Fringe. Like, let's go.
That's what I was thinking.
And I listen, Edinburgh is hard. It's not a very accessible city.
Right. That'd be a problem because it's Europe. Yeah.
I think it's an amazing show. I want him to do it more. Is what I'll say. I hope he gets back out there.
Yeah. I'm going to check it out. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Okay. So like normally so we got the life-changing event. We talk about the medicine, which just sounds like your whole journey that you kind of shared, right? Then what would you say is the funniest lesson that you learned?
I was really thinking about this a lot because I'm like, God, what is the funniest thing? And this is what I came up with. Okay. Is that I'm a tall girl, 5'9",
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my whole life for a taller husband. I wanted a man taller than me. I could wear my heels. And you know what? I got it. I did. I got it. But he sits all the time. He's always seated. He's always seated or laying down, even worse. So that's the funniest thing to me is like, I'm like,
I got what I wanted.
If there's a God, this is so fucking funny. And I hate it. But I also love it. Because it doesn't matter. I can always wear heels. It doesn't matter what shoes I wear.
Oh, it's so great.
That's the funniest
it's
lesson.
So great.
Is that, hey, they might be taller than you. And then they might get paralyzed.
And then they might get Jesus. I love you guys so much. I do.
Oh, thank you.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Oh my gosh.
Where can people follow you?
My God, I always forget what my Instagram is because is it my old name or is it my new name? I think it's Erin McGowan is my Instagram handle.
Yeah, MCGOWN. Yeah.
Yeah, Erin McGowan. And it that's where I put everything.
We'll put everything on the socials for you.
Yeah, that's where I put everything. I have a fitness website in the works, but it is not out yet.
Okay.
But it will be Relatable Fitness.
And then the Dumbbells podcast.
Yeah, the Dumbbells. Yeah, come through. Listen to us talk about fitness.
It's great.
It's fun. I love it. It's silly.
I love it because you guys have the kind of it's not like, this is we love every day that like the kind of influencers that are like, man, I just enjoy every part of this journey. And it's like, what the fuck?
No, you know what? This is my stance on the Dumbbells podcast because listen, this is so cool. I love all the cameras. We're on camera. This is so cool. Like we are fucking old school podcasters. Neither of us are famous. Neither of us are trying to be famous. We want less people to listen to us. We are like, we're like, I don't wear makeup to do that podcast.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I take a shower and like barely put on like my pajamas to do this podcast.
Yes.
All you can see, we're on Zoom.
Yeah.
We're not even in person. We're on Zoom. We're not done with the pandemic. He can see from my chin up. That's it. Anyways, it's still
one of my favorite. It's still one of my favorite podcasts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, guys. You guys, you can follow me at Nicole Birch Comedy or at The Funny Thing Is Podcast on all socials, and then NicoleComedy.com. And like always, we'll see you again next week. Be nice to each other. Bye.